So you figured out what you want. You've learned a little bit about who you're talking to. You've started to develop that personal message. And now it's time to figure out how to fit that all into one communication. I'm going to talk about a message formula that applies in a meeting, but you can translate it into phone calls and emails and other communications as well. So how does it work? First of all, you start with, hello, my name is, and I'm from. And that's where you say your name and where you're from. And what you're doing is establishing relevancy with the elected official and the staff people. You're saying, hi, I'm from your district or I'm from your state. I represent people that you represent, and these issues that I'm about to talk about are very important to them. The next point, I'm here to talk about. This is where you fill in your policy issue. And you can go as detailed as you want, but I suggest sort of a general overview. So I'm here to talk to you about healthcare issues that impact patient group XYZ. If that's what you're there to talk about. But you need to translate that obviously into your own specific issue. But what you're doing is you're introducing the issue. Then the next point is knowing of your interest in, I thought you'd be interested as well. This is where you fit in that information that you figured out about that elected official, or as I mentioned before, through the staff person to the elected official. So if you know they were interested in technology and you're there to talk about healthcare, you might make some of that technology connections. And that's where you perk up their interest, where they look at it and they say, oh, okay, this is the policy issue that I love. If you can't make that connection, that's okay. You can skip that step. You don't want to stretch it too much. But if you can make that connection, it's always great. Let me tell you why this is important to you. That's the next bullet point. And that's where you tell that personal story. That's where you say, this is how it impacts me. This is why I got involved in this. This is how it impacts my business, my loved ones. That personal story that we talked about in the SPIT technique is where this fits in. Now, then you're going to say, that's why I really hope that you will. And that's where you put in a little bit of information about your ask. So that's why I really hope that you will co-sponsor a bill or support a certain funding level. When you say that, you're probably thinking to yourself, but Stephanie, that's not a question. You told me to ask a question. That's the next thing. Will you co-sponsor this bill, visit us in the district, talk to our staff people, whatever you want to fill in there for the ask, make sure that you put that again in the form of a question. And those are the policy asks or the relationship building asks that we've talked about already. Then the next point, I'd like to follow up by. You've thought about a follow-up plan before you walk in the door, and we'll talk about some ideas in just a moment. But this is where you say, I'd like to follow up on this by talking with you in the district, by having a meeting, by doing a site visit. Make sure you've got that plan in mind so that when the staff person says, hey, how would you like to follow up? Your response isn't, I don't know. And then finally, your point is going to be to say, may I get your contact information? Make sure you get the cards of the staff people and make sure that they have yours as well. And if you can email them right away so that they have your email, that's great as well. Just make sure that you've got a way to communicate with them as a follow-up. Now you can always do a picture. You can ask the legislator if he or she is available to do a picture, and you can post it on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Snapchat, on your carrier pigeon, whatever social media you use, you can post it up there with something nice, a nice comment. Make sure the legislator knows that you've done that because they will often share that with their own followers. If you want to take a picture with the staff person, always make sure that they're comfortable with that because staff people are sometimes a little bit uncomfortable with that. So that's your message formula. You're making yourself relevant by saying, hello, my name is. You're integrating your policy issues by saying that you're there to talk about, and then you're connecting it back to the legislator. You're telling your personal story, and you're making an ask. And then finally, you're thinking about follow-up, which is something we're going to talk about in just a minute.